Bobby. That's fast, but we'll start. By
All right, I need to get back to book.
Todd just told me that Jamie is not going to be able to make it. He was going to get off early, but there's been a suspicious something at the Rutherford County Courthouse. Thankfully, it wasn't the Cannon County Courthouse, and he's stuck in Rutherford County.
He may get here late.
He may come in late. So with that being said, I'll call our meeting to order. I'm going to start with a prayer. We'll all stand, and then Brent Bush is going to lead us in. When I finish, Brent Bush will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. Let's pray. Our gracious God in heaven, we're so thankful for this beautiful day. We're thankful that we live in a country that we are free to choose our occupations, to choose our leaders, and to do those things that are pleasing in your sight, and we're free to choose those things. We're thankful for this county that we all care about. We're thankful for each of these commissioners who have been elected by the citizens of their different communities. We pray that you would be with us as we make decisions throughout this term. Continue to bless this county. We're mindful of those that are fighting for our country in foreign fields. We pray that you would be with them, be with their families, bring them home safely if it's your will. This prayer we make in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, Bobby, call the roll.
Mark Martin.
Present.
Russell Reed.
Here.
Todd Holland.
Here.
Carol Nash.
Here.
Jim Bush.
Here.
Andy Holloway. Lynn Stickles.
Present.
Brent Bush.
Here.
Richie Hunter.
Here.
Adam Melton.
Here.
9 present, 1 absent.
All right, it's not on our agenda, but, and I've got to ask the county executive about this. Are we supposed to select our chairman at this meeting?
Well, we did it in October last year. It's always,
The last time we did it in October.
it's all, ever since I can remember.
It was done in October, that's fine. So the October meeting, at the next meeting then, we will select who we want to be chairman of this commission. I was selected not last October, but whenever I was selected. When Bob Stetzel passed away, they selected me. And I'll serve this time, and then the first thing on the agenda for the next meeting will be naming a chairman and a vice chairman, or pro tem, whichever one you want to put it.
Is the committee assignments going to be then too?
Committee assignment's going to be in October.
Supposed to be, but
They usually are.
you need to get with me and let me know who you want. We can work together. I'll help you with it. But since you're the chairman now, it'll be up to you to kind of appoint.
To work with you.
You'll have to recommend a committee list.
We, if you want to be on, you give, mail everyone the committee lists just as soon as this meeting is over. That way they'll know what committees there are, and then we will work with you to place you on different committees. If you've got something that you really are interested in, let's say the recreation committee or something like that, let it be known, and we'll try to work with you and get you on that committee. All right, we're down to number 4 on our agenda.
Need to ask another
Wait a minute,
question.
Mark.
All right, go right ahead.
We didn't get these prescribed 5 days prior to our meeting.
We didn't get our agendas.
No. I move that we adjourn this meeting and reconvene it next Tuesday night at 5 p.m. to give everybody the opportunity to go over this for the prescribed amount of time.
Why weren't they mailed by then? What day did y'all? I've had mine for 5 days. What day did you get yours, Todd? You know?
I believe I got it. It's been 4 or 5 days.
Okay.
Got mine
Saturday.
Friday.
You got yours Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday,
Now, you
Tuesday.
can't count Sunday. It ain't a business day.
Oh, but you had it. Are you sure that's the way you don't count it? If it's 5 days before the meeting?
I understand it's 5 business days.
Well, I got mine Saturday, so
and count
Okay.
those.
Have you looked at it? Is there anything that you want to not look at today?
It ain't the point of me looking at it, it's the rules. I mean, you know, we've
Well,
been-
those are
we've been
standing
bumping
rules that are not written down. That's just what we said we wanted it to be done. Now, the U.S. Mail got mine to me. What about,
I got mine Saturday,
got your Saturday? Okay. Is that enough
but I've
time for you?
looked at it.
Have you had enough time to look at it? I'll entertain that motion. It's been made. Do I hear a second?
I second it.
All right, the motion's been made and seconded to wait till next week to consider any of these things. And that is been made and seconded, and we'll just take a vote.
Roll call.
That's what I was gonna do, Bobby, call a roll.
Okay,
Russell Reed made a motion and Jim Bush seconded.
that put off the meeting for next week.
That's right.
Okay, Mark Barker,
Yeah, I know.
Russell Reed,
Yes.
Todd Allenberg.
No.
Karen Asher,
No,
Jim Bush,
Yes.
James Holloway, Glenn Stickley,
No.
Brent Bush,
Yes.
Richie Hunter,
No.
Adam Melton,
No.
6 for, 3 against, motion carried. Motion failed.
Motion failed. All right.
What's gonna be our guidelines?
We're gonna try
I
to
mean,
get
you
them
know,
to you 5 days
since-
before, but I don't-
Since, you know, we went this far, what's gonna be the guidelines? 1 day, 2 days, 3 days? Now, you know, you're backing up on the 5-day. Now, either we hold to what we agree on, or we don't.
That's,
But evidently,
just for
that's,
discussion, I agree that I like to have mine 5 days, but we don't control the mail.
that has nothing to do with the situation, what we're talking about. We're talking about
has everybody given them
agreement.
her email?
No,
Has everybody given her your email?
I don't do email.
Okay, I just wondered. Just asking a question. Okay. The motion failed. Let's continue down to verse number 4. But
So I don't get an answer?
Yeah, I'm gonna get you an answer. We're gonna try our best to hold to the 5 days and more.
But if we don't,
Diane,
we're
let's
just
try
gonna-
our best to get them out earlier and get them down 5 days. And I shouldn't call, it's not just Diane's fault.
I tell you what.
Okay, continuing on. Is everybody clear on that? We're gonna try our best to get them out. I wish they'd be here a week ahead of time. We will discuss this more when we talk about monthly meetings on number 8. Okay, number 4 is Tim Bell from the Rescue Squad.
Mr. Chairman, I'm going, for the new members, I'm going to pass out a packet of information. The previous commissioners have already had a packet of this. Adam got a packet when he was at the city. So I'll skip over the previous members here.
Thank you.
The reason I'm here tonight is to talk to you about our strategic plan initiative for the organization. But first off, I'm going to start off by saying we brought this to the commission back in March, and we told them at that time that we were working through some processes to get this implemented, and we would come back to them with that. So I'm going to start on the left side of your packet there, and that shows basically the amount of grants that we have applied for and received since 2006. Most of the grants that the squad gets are private foundation grants because we are a nonprofit organization and have a 501c3. We do every once in a while get some federal grants and state grants, but those are some of those programs are not renewed annually. Some of them are one-time projects. So we are pretty proactive with getting outside agency funding. In 2006, we had never gotten a grant. And I went to Mike and I said, Mike, we need some help here. And he sent me to some training in Nashville, and I learned how to do it and learned how to make that stuff work. So since then, that's probably the best money he's ever spent on a volunteer, is to get them to where they can to get money for the organizations. Out of that money there, a portion of that has been not only for the rescue squad, but for the fire departments and the ambulance service as well. So with that, we, on the right side of your document, and I'm not going to ask you to read all this tonight. When I approached or talked to Commissioner Barker, he wanted me to come and to present this to the new members and give you basically a month to think about this. And certainly if you have any questions tonight or in between then, my card is in there and you can contact me personally. If you look at this, this is a strategic plan for the rescue squad. Like I said, we put our first one out in 2008 and then we updated it last year. And if you'll flip over to, I'll get you to look at towards the back of this document on page 12, and they're numbered at the bottom on where it says 5-year strategic plan. On page 12, on this document, 5-year strategic plan. It calls for basically $350,000 worth of expenditures over the 5-year period. So we broke that down into trucks, equipment, and building. And there's a couple of different ways that we're going to do that or ask for your support in doing that. So one of those ways is through grant funding from the United States Department of Agriculture and Rural Development. Now, this is a grant program that we have gotten once, or actually 2 times before, through USDA. They offer grant programs for rural communities less than 20,000 population. And so those funds are designed to buy fire trucks and ambulances and rescue trucks and build facilities and stuff. Their portion of their grant is 15%. So just for numbers' sake, what we're going to be asking for in the first phase of this is a rescue truck, and we're using the figure of $120,000, okay? So if we take that, 15% of that project would be initially right off the top $18,000. That'll leave you with $102,000 left over. So the squad has decided that we can funnel another 15% to that and take 30% right off the top, whatever the cost may be. We're just using 120 as a good round figure for the cost of a rescue truck. Anything between that time and when it gets through the feds back to the Cookeville office, which takes basically about a year, we'll be able to sit back and write private foundation grants, as many as we can. So the money that comes in through that will help to bring down the cost. So if you take 30% right off the top, that leaves you in the neighborhood of basically $80,000. A penny of revenue, in tax revenue, brings in $20,000. Mike can give you a better understanding of how debt service works than I can, but basically we put 2 cents in each year, correct? All right, so last year 2 cents went over, so that's $40,000 that went over into debt service. If we take $80,000, you can take and basically pay this off in 2 years. So I've had some soft conversations with USDA, and their grant cycle starts in October 1. First of the trough gets the most. He told me last year that they had to turn money in because they didn't have agencies apply for these grants. So I told him if we can always help you find places to put money in Cannon County. But their grant cycle starts October 1. They only have about $60,000 or so for the upper Cumberland counties, but the ones that have greater than 20,000 population, they immediately get knocked out of the grant cycles. They are not eligible for them. So this is what we think is a good plan of producing or purchasing a new truck to replace a 1987 model truck that's 27 years old. It's got 120-something thousand miles on it. We did not buy that truck brand new. We actually bought that truck used and have built it into a rescue truck. So that's the one thing that I'm here to ask you about tonight, and then the rest of it is We have asked Mike, and he can explain this more to you, there are funds available from CDBG, which is Community Development Block Grants. And that's basically the grants that supply water lines, and the most recent one that's built the ambulance service is going to build that. So you can't have more than one CDBG grant going at a time. So when the ambulance grant gets finished, then you are eligible to apply for another CDBG. Now, whether or not you get funded is a different story. But we would like for the commission to look at approving us to be the next in line to apply for those grants. And like I said, I've already had conversations with Mike about that and the water line situation. We've about maxed out the amount of water lines that we can get in Cannon County on those grants. So if we don't apply for those funds, we're definitely not going to get it. It's kind of like swinging at a baseball. If you don't swing at it, you won't hit it. So with CDBG funds, their maximum allowance that they will pay is up to $300,000 to fund initiatives. So that money can be applied towards these projects as well. So when I talked with the USDA representative in Cookeville, he suggested that we break this down into 3 phases, basically truck, and then equipment, and then building. We'll have to work CDBG with USDA because the greater funding is from CDBG. So it has to be on their terms and agreements. So over a 5-year period, USDA can fund 3 separate projects, which will total about $50,000. It just won't be all at one time. So if Mike wants to explain any more about that, or how those programs work.
I'll make one comment. There's 3 cents that goes into debt service every year. And debt service also gets the wheel tax and the litigation tax on the jail. And those things are already, set aside for the things that they're paying for. And each of you can get a copy of the budget for the coming year. I understand as new commissioners, you're working under a budget that the old commission has already approved. But all along during the year, we'll modify that budget as seen fit through budget amendments. When Tim talked to me, I certainly didn't want any of us, even those of us that had already gotten this packet a few months ago, to make a decision tonight. So you take that home with you and you study it. How many rescue squad members are there?
28.
28 of them. There's 28 members in the rescue squad, and Tim will be glad to answer your questions, and then we'll come back at a later date and consider this. Didn't want to rush anything on you. And also on the previous thing, I apologize that you didn't get this any more than 5 days early, but I didn't think there was anything on here that it wasn't intentional at all. But as far as putting it off till next week, we weren't going to act on anything like this tonight anyhow. So we need to get this going so y'all can get this information in your hands and have it in your hands for the next month's meeting. Okay, now, Mike, you have...
So the reason that we need to replace this truck is it's 27 years old. It's not NFPA, which is the National Fire Protection rated. We built that truck. Michael Underhill and Adam Hayes Adam probably put 15 pounds of weld into it, and it was used when we got it. It had over 100,000 miles on it. Last week, that was the primary rescue truck because our rescue truck was gone to Shovelville for 2 weeks to have work done on the light system. So we have 2 primary trucks, or 2 trucks that have equipment on them to cut somebody out of a car or whatever needs to be done. And so that 87 model has been the secondary truck, but last week it was the primary truck covering the whole county. We've actually got members now that are driving the truck, that the truck is older than they are. So debt service is a way, and like I said, Mike can explain that better to you than I can, and certainly Chairman Barker, but debt service is a way to buy equipment on a long term and pay it off to where it's not affecting the year-to-year budget.
Did I hear you correctly say that over the course of the year,
we'd be going into amendments? and-
Yes.
And that's kind of the normal, because I
Yeah, we'll
think of
have budget amendments as we see things changing that we didn't not foresee. Then we'll have to amend the budget so that at the end of the year, you won't make so many budget amendments at the end of the year. And that helps the bookkeepers also to just keep everything monthly in line. So if we see that we need to make an amendment on the budget, we'll amend it. But we'll have to, that will come to you in the mail before you come to the meeting. You'll know what the budget amendments are going to be about.
So the budget set, and then we adjust fire based on an emergency, some type of priorities, is there a policy, is there, I mean, I guess I assume like, this is a good, thank you for your brief, and you've got an issue here with a truck, is what I hear, it's something we review. I don't know, I find the amendment process kind of a,
Well, that won't be on a budget amendment, that won't.
okay.
Well, it might, it would just be us deciding to purchase something for the rescue squad, or help them purchase something, or apply for grants to do our part of the grant. It might be a 80-20 grant, it might be a 20-80 grant, but that wouldn't be a budget amendment. That wouldn't.
I would think of it like being something you take care of like in the end of FY, the last quarter, you know, you've got an emergency, something's broke down, there's been an AC unit out, so now we need to, but right up front, I assume that the budget's, passed, it's there's money there, at least out to a point, 3 months, 6 months.
Well, that's one thing we're going to discuss next. There's not money there until people start paying their property taxes. And so we're going to, on the agenda today is to approve what's called a tax anticipation note, where we've got money in one pocket over here, which is the debt service pocket. We're going to take it out and put it over here in the other pocket, which is the general fund pocket, to pay everyone's salaries until folks come into the trustee's office and start paying their taxes. And that's been done for years and years to keep from having a big balance at the end of the year. You see what I mean? And that's what we'll consider in a few minutes, a tax anticipation note. It'll be moving money from one place to the other, and you have to replace that money before the end of the fiscal year, or the state won't let you, the state auditors won't let you do it again next year.
A lot of your amendments, because I've been on the commission before, but a lot of your amendments will be moving it from one line item to another one. It's not taking it from the
That's right.
debt services.
But it does increase that line for the next year. So if you actually
Not
move
necessarily.
line from one account.
No, not
For
necessarily.
this year.
So it wouldn't like all of a sudden if you moved line, $10,000 and moved it to this 10,000, now is that budget increased to $10,000?
No, it wouldn't.
next year?
Take, for instance, the gasoline budget for the sheriff's department. It's what, Darryl, 40, 60, whatever it is. If it's $50,000, if we have to, at the end of the year, amend it, in the month of May, and increase it by $5,000, well, that line will be increased with that budget, but it doesn't affect it the next year, because we vote on it again for the next year. And if gasoline's going down, we might say, well, let's try it again for $50,000. And we had to spend $55,000 last year, but we think it's going down. So it does not affect the next year, because that's all gone over by whoever's on the budget committee. And then it's all gone over again by the entire commission. Does that answer your question?
Oh, yeah, I mean, I'm sitting there, look,
Like right here, fire prevention and control for instance, in-service training is $2,100. All right, if they spend $2,500 and they say they're gonna have money left where they pay their phone bill, they'll want to move the money out of communication up to in-service training to cover their deficit tax.
That's right. And helps bookkeepers.
So Mark,
Does anybody have any more questions for Tim
If I
Bell?
can just finish up too.
Yes, sir.
The way that a lot of these programs work, the USDA, we've done on our own because of the way that their grant is structured. CDBG and some of these other grants, they work through the county executive's office. They have control over it, but you guys have to ratify what they do. So both branches of government have to agree on, yes. So Mike's office could say, yes, we could apply for it, but if you guys don't say, yes, we'll put in 20% or whatever, then it fails. But the take-home point is, when you start looking at this, and both areas of government have got to agree on it, number one. And number two, it's just to apply for the grant. Once it goes through this big algorithm, it may come up where it's not enough money to be feasible, or you gotta do this a certain way because of whatever. There's a lot of paperwork involved in it.
Applying for a grant does not obligate us, is what you're trying to
It
say.
does not. No, it doesn't obligate you to sign the bottom line. The unfortunate thing with a lot of these programs is like I said, the first of the trough gets the most, and the big government places are able to, they have people on staff. I'm not on staff 24 hours a day for the risk. I am, but I don't get paid. And Michael is when he's not at work, but you need to be towards the front end of asking for any type of money, whether it be for USDA or CDBG or whatever type of grant program. You have to take a lot of notes sometimes. You see there, I've applied for 1.2 million, and right now I've hit, I'm averaging 10%, but just 3 months ago I was averaging 23%, and the national average is 16%. So it kind of fluctuates and goes up and down. But certainly my card's in there. If you have any questions, please call me, and we'll take you over there, show you everything we got, and show you books and anything else you want to know.
Any commissioners got a question for Tim?
Thank you.
Thank you. Moving to number 5. This is put off from last month's agenda. We have Faye Morris here tonight. She is the EMA director. And there was a question about the thermal imagers that had been gotten with a grant. And I don't know any more than that. And I was told to put it on the agenda, so there it is. Go ahead. Whoever's got a question for Faye about the thermal imagers, here's your opportunity.
What's the question?
Russell, do you remember
Have
what
we
it
got
was?
them?
Yes, there has.
How many?
They went into law enforcement. 3.
Tell us what they are. Can they tell if there's a body?
I mean, I know a little bit about thermal imaging. I'm just trying to see what you're using them for: body, vehicle, heat signatures.
Whatever we need them for, we just think
Do you move them? Are they movable, portable?
They're portable.
Handheld sticks?
Right.
Okay, like have a display, got a display on it, kind of type of deal, tells you what
I don't know,
it
I ain't in charge.
They do, and they hook to computer, download.
is. Okay, so
When did you
download-
receive them, Darrell?
When you go Friday?
I guess. We got the money on, the 18th or something like that,
That's money on the 18th of which month?
August.
August.
So there's stations that you don't have to have any kind of software, any kind of software work? no
He
problem.
received them on the 15th, so we must have got the money on the 18th.
When was this grant applied for?
It wasn't applied, it's through the.
Okay, when was the money got? I'll rephrase the question.
It's, I don't.
However you got
comes
it.
through the District 5 funding, and they allocate, and
Okay.
what was left over we got.
Next question, what's District 5 funding?
That's the Homeland Security District, Wilson County, Rutherford County, Davidson County, Trousdale County, Cannon County, Wilson County, and Sumner County. And they have different groups, and this was what, law enforcement was the only entity that was funded through the grant.
And for the benefit of everybody else, you serve on, you meet with these District 5 people from the other counties.
Right, we have a meeting
Since you're our
Friday.
EMA director, you meet with them in Nashville or wherever they're having a meeting, right?
We'll be in Sumner County this Friday.
Okay.
This company you got these from located in Chapel Hill, Tennessee? Black Fox Tactical?
I have no idea as far as that goes, because it's a standard, law enforcement committee has a standard that you use, and you order from, it's all standardized throughout all 6 counties, where if Cannon County goes into Williamson County, they can use their equipment. Williamson comes into Cannon, it's all across the board standardized.
I'm glad you got them for our sheriff's department. Any other questions for Faye?
I don't know. I mean, I don't-
Yeah, taxpayer money.
Okay, that's what I'm wondering. Okay, and this
It
is
didn't,
me?
it doesn't cost the county anything, no, it's all federal.
Yes, ma'am, it costs, you pay your federal taxes, this is where it comes from.
I mean, it didn't come out of the county budget, is what
It's Homeland Security stuff.
right.
Stuff, yeah.
Yeah.
stuff. Well, let's keep the industrial base going, that way, you know, even for need, greater need, you gotta keep the sign, things like that out there. Darryl, you need it, I mean, good stuff and bad stuff, I mean, anybody used it, anybody got it?
We have had needs for it, just not, you don't do it on a daily basis.
Lost persons, escapees.
Our SWAT team at work uses them. Basically what it is, if somebody's standing on the side of that wall and you think they're in there, you shoot it and it gives you off a heat source. You can't see your face,
Yeah,
but you
yeah,
can
yeah.
see the silhouette.
Yeah.
Our SWAT team uses it all the time. If they think somebody's in the house, they'll pull it out.
Based on
Scan
like
the
a
house.
FLIR system, forward
Basically,
laser,
yeah.
infrared
Basically like a
radar
FLIR.
type, so you can,
FLIR.
okay.
Yeah, I mean, our SWAT team uses them on every call out. They can see where the suspect is in the house. Makes it a lot safer.
High tech.
Woodbury Fire has one, right?
Moortown's got one as well,
Yeah,
on
we
fire
got
truck.
one. Woodbury got one.
And the fire aspect of it help you find hot spots, or if you have smoke showing, you can't see flames anywhere in the house, start scanning walls, ceilings, it'll show you where the heat source is. And we can get to it and try to save the structure a lot better.
Sheriff Young, since you have received these, how many times have you or your personnel used them?
Sydney.
None?
Like I say, it's not one of those daily use things.
And you have 3 of them?
Yes.
And you hadn't even had them a month yet though, have you? Okay. But they're like your firearm. You hope you don't have to use them.
Are you gonna get them out though and test them and go train with them, so that's part of the plan?
We would.
Okay. Any other questions for the sheriff or Faye? Like I said, this is on from the last meeting, and thank you, Faye, for coming and explaining that. All right. Number 6 is Moortown Fire Department. Here we go. Come on up, Michael. Going to discuss the Moortown Fire Department's outstanding debt.
What this is October 17, 2009, the county commission voted to loan the Moortown Fire Department $7,500 to purchase air tanks, and the agreement was to, this would be, I forced to bring this up. The auditor said this was a loan the commission made. I have all the work here, all the paperwork where we paid for it. Well, they paid us one payment back of $2,500, which left a balance of $5,000. I say paid us, paid the county. And Michael and his department run into some tough years, I'll say, lean years, we'll say, and weren't able to pay back the other 5. That's been on the books since, 2009 it was 75, so in 2010 he paid 25, so we've had 5,000 on the books since then. The auditor said that she wanted the commissioners to either write the debt off or collect it, put up a new plan, so that's why I haven't put it on the agenda. If any of you want to
I'll be
see
honest with you, for the first 4 years, we didn't have the money to pay it back. But I actually forgot about it till Mike called me that day. It just slipped my mind. We can make payments, every how we need to do.
Here's where they purchased the equipment.
We can't pay it all back at one time, but we can make payments now. We're getting
Paid
the money.
purchase order. So that's your call, that's the commission's loan, so you'll have to decide what to do on that.
It came through debt service. Ain't that right, Mike? It didn't come through, it came through debt service.
No,
Uh,
come out of the budget, it'll come out of county general.
Diane, what is their line item on their building fund, building maintenance?
51,800 for 3 times.
51 what?
It was for air tanks, wasn't it?
Air packs.
Air packs, yeah.
5,100? 51,800?
That's what the previous commission said.
If I remember correctly, Michael had found several of these that were in really good shape. It was a really good
Yeah.
balance.
Through what we just
Now,
got
that's
a grant.
17,000,
Yeah,
right?
those two, and we bought two from him.
17,000.
That's for the whole, all the departments though.
That's fine. It's for all of the departments. I'm not gonna write it off. We already done that on the ambulance service for almost $500,000.
What's 25, what's 2,500
Well,
more?
what I'm asking,
What's 7,
No.
what's 5,000 more?
won't we just take out of their building maintenance, get it over with, take the 5,000 out of their building maintenance fund, pay the note, let her go?
No,
Why?
And that hurts the rest of the fire
right.
departments.
Well,
They borrowed it, they're gonna have to pay it, but I don't know how they can pay, I mean, how much they can pay at a time,
They
but I
don't even
think
want, y'all
they,
don't want to do that, do you?
We took the note.
That's right.
well, now, if we do that, we'll let them do that right there. In order for them to, take it off the books, then they come to an agreement that they put it back in.
that's what we're doing right now, making an agreement to put it back.
But I'm saying to cover the old note.
You can work out a new payment
Let's
plan.
work.
That's what I'm
let's-
saying.
They owe us $5,000. Let's work out a new payment plan. Michael, you
That'll
said what now?
satisfy
I can do 1,000 now and 1,000 a year that I feel comfortable with. We're trying to build a building, but we've got 3 trucks in outside. But I can do 1,000 down and 1,000 a year, I know. And if the department can't pay it, it'll get paid.
All right. Would anybody be willing to make a motion to reschedule their payments at $1,000 a year and due on October the 1st? I'm just throwing things out for y'all now. Y'all make the motions. I'm just gonna. I don't think we ought to write it off and punish or penalize other departments.
It needs to be-
And Michael
Right.
Michael didn't want to get it written off.
Right.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
it needs to be paid off before our term's out,
Okay.
because I don't want to put nothing out past our term.
Well,
So that should do it. I think it's 5,000, right?
Yep.
So 1,000 down.
Or 1,250 for 4 years.
Yeah, we would you see what I'm saying? I don't want to put it on the next commission.
I can do that.
Hey, Jim,
You got a motion?
Jim, look at line 452 on that. You got the utility budget, 125,000. That's 12,000 over last year.
Mm-hmm.
You should take it out of it.
We don't take it out of anything. We don't get our money.
I don't think we should take it out of all the departments, we need to get it from them.
They're here wanting to pay. They just want to pay a little slower.
I'll tell you.
Yeah, I'd say,
3 years ago.
I'll make a motion on
3
the
years ago,
1250.
I called Mike, and I told Mike I
I'll
was gonna take
second.
out a loan and run the department. That's how close we were.
He made a
That's where
motion,
we're
I
at 3
second
years
it.
ago.
We got a motion made by Todd Hollingsworth to take
What's the motion?
$1,250 a year starting October the 1st.
With $1,000 down?
No, no,
I'll
no.
put 1,250 down.
$1,250 for 4 payments, 4 years, would be $5,000. Is that right? Okay, and Karen Ashford seconded it. Everybody understand what the motion is? $1,250?
you'll pay.
October 1,
October 1, every year for the next 4 years. Okay, everybody understand the motion? All right, Bobby, call the roll.
Mark Carter,
Yes?
Russell Reed,
No,
Todd Hollingsworth,
Yes.
Karen Ashton,
yes.
Jim Bush,
No.
James Holloway,
I'm an active member of Moortown. I'm not going to vote. I'll abstain.
you pass.
Yes, sir.
Glenn Stickley,
They're willing to pay it back, want to pay it back, and I think we should give them the opportunity. I vote yes.
Brett Bush,
Yes.
Richie Hummer,
Yes.
Adam Melton.
Yes.
Thank you.
8 for,
Thank you,
2
Mike.
against. Now, 7 for, 2 against, 1 pass.
All right, motion passes. And I hope we don't run into any more lean times. All right, next is number 7 on our budget, our agenda, excuse me. Number 7 is the county general solid waste and ambulance service budget amendments. They're on 3 pages that Diane has fixed for us. with the explanations on them. And we'll take them in the order that they were on our agenda. The first one is for county general in 3 different places. General Sessions Judge, it's for the employee insurance, Blue Cross Blue Shield new enrollment. That's your explanation. Do you want to make any other explanation for it? Blue Cross Blue Shield, that's insurance, health insurance, new enrollment.
Mark, if you would, let me say this.
All right, go ahead.
We offer a condition of employment, county will offer insurance. So you've got a person, you set the budget before July 1, say, and then say someone new is hired, that the person the year before may have not taken that insurance. So you set the budget appropriately to match that. Then the new person may take it. That's what this is. This is new people, mostly. General Sessions is.
Well, it's up, September's open enrollment for Blue Cross, so anybody can sign up that hasn't been enrolled.
And we had some sign up. We just simply do that.
And if the former employee or the former county official was on their husband or their wife's insurance, I'm on my wife's insurance, so I don't have insurance. If I was a county employee, I'd have it with my wife. But if the new employee does not have the same thing, then they may, during the open enrollment time, apply to get insurance. Now, we don't know who's going to enroll when Jim and I were making these, the General Sessions Judge budget back in May. We didn't know who was going to enroll in September.
Is this just the one time, the enrollment?
The enrollment is one time a year?
One time a year.
The whole month of September is an open enrollment.
Or new employees can sign up when you're hired.
No, I can't tell you it's a one-time. Let's say Darrell loses a deputy and hires a new one, and that deputy lost wasn't on it, the new one is, that's going to raise his cost.
I see.
And we're just guessing
Speaking,
at these insurances, what they're going to be.
speaking of insurance, during this last cycle of insurance, has the coverage changed for the county employees?
The coverage hasn't changed except there's 3 options, and I wasn't aware of it the other day. Option 2, which some in the sheriff's department has, I don't know if there's anybody else, the amount it pays on your drugs changed. It hadn't when we signed up, but my understanding the new Affordable Care Act law made Blue Cross change that one plan. That's the only change I'm aware of.
All right, the next, and we're going to have, we've got 3 here that are on county general. And we'll consider them together. The library is an error. We got the librarian here with us. The budget committee passed this. This is my understanding. The budget committee passed this, but we didn't get it written down, and it wasn't put on our new budget. Is that correct? Here's the librarian. You can ask her. It was a $3,500 for going from full-time to part-time to full-time, right? And what you remember, we said we was going to do that.
Well, I've got notations for that.
You got notations. Jim's got notations for that. And then the third one is the extension office, and it's also Blue Cross Blue Shield new enrollment, and it's where the 4-H, we got a new 4-H agent. Heath Noakes moved to Warren County, and Sarah Malone was hired by the Extension Service. University of Tennessee picks up 78% of them and their salaries, and Bruce Stillman's right there for that to explain that if you got any questions about that. And our portion is 22%, and the insurance is in there, and it's again, it's a Blue Cross Blue Shield new enrollment plus some of their a portion of our part. And we were just making an estimate of what that would be. The person wasn't hired, I don't think, till we got through the budget. So that's $3,700. Now those are the only 3 things on the county general, and we'll do them separate from the solid waste.
So 3,700 and 6,900 are estimates.
No, those aren't estimates. We know now what
those are linked to individuals, or they linked to groups of people?
groups of, so they're just an estimate of how many people you got coming into the system and how many people you got going
See, what
out.
happened at Bruce is, Heath Noakes worked like a half a year, and then he took a job back in Memphis, so that position stayed empty for half a year. So when the budget committee gets the figure, they say, well, spend, he didn't, well, you know what I'm saying, Bruce's office didn't spend all that was allocated for insurance benefits. So they set it at the same thing they had last year. They're basically the same thing. But when Sarah Malone comes on, she signs up for insurance. So by not thinking about Heath being gone for 6 months, we wound up short because we got her for the full year. Does that make sense?
How many employees are on the general sessions judge? Is that just one employee that the insurance, she should have to take insurance, right?
Obviously, she didn't have it till now.
No, she didn't.
She just now taking it.
Or she's taking the county's insurance, okay.
Right.
And that's our prerogative. And we have to do it. Everybody understand what these budget amendments are for? Do I hear a motion to approve them?
Make a motion.
All right, do I hear a second?
Second motion.
All right, motion made by Richie Hunter, second by Adam Melton. And call the roll.
Art Carson,
Yes?
Russell Reed,
No.
Todd Holliday,
Yes.
Darren Ashby,
Yes.
Jim Bush,
No.
James Holloway,
Yes.
Dan Stigler,
Yes.
Brent Bush,
No.
Richie Hunter,
Yes.
Adam Melton,
Yes.
motion carried.
Number 8. The previous commission has been meeting.
Wait, you got 2 more.
Oh, excuse me. You're exact. Thank you, Todd. Appreciate that. Solid waste. There's a request to amend the solid waste budget and put bookkeeping,
Not asking for any new money over there.
moving money, and it's moving it from contracts with other agencies, which is already in the solid waste budget,
Over in the book.
over into bookkeeping, and that's $3,000.
Did they just hire a bookkeeper?
No, we.
The Diane's been doing it.
We,
Let Mike explain, just go ahead and explain it.
we checked around and, the job that Diane does is technically in other counties, it's called director of budget and finance. It's kind of like having a finance director, and we can pay part of her salary. We can, any fund that she oversees in the bookkeeping area, we can take part of that to pay her salary. You see what I'm saying?
So you haven't been paying her for that till now?
Well, she's been getting paid, but we're gonna take 3,000 of it now
Out of their,
solid waste.
So this is not 3,000 additional?
Yes,
This is 3,000 additional?
because she's taken on a lot of, we did a study on it, and I've worked with different ones, and if you'll look, the next one, the sandwich service 1,000, with her new, we have other bookkeepers in the system that make a lot more than she does as one account overseas. She has 5 or 6. And I have, somewhere, a list of her duties,
Well, if that be the case, we need to go to
we've added a lot of extra responsibility to her. There's been a lot of talk about having a finance director. Well, that's basically what she is now.
That's what you're doing now.
That's what I'm saying.
Just like Charlene.
And the only one she answers to is to us.
Goes to,
You can't do that. There's everybody.
That's right.
Would y'all feel better studying this longer?
Yep.
yep.
Okay?
like I said.
That's what I thought.
If
Put both of these back on the agenda for next month. The ambulance service is gonna be the same way. Now, we used to have a budget line item in the ambulance service, correct me if I'm wrong. We used to have bookkeeping over at the ambulance service, a line item for that, and one of the ambulance service employees was doing it, and then they quit doing it, and that just piled more on Diane. You understand that, what I'm saying? That's what the ambulance was.
She's got a lot more duties she had a year ago with the Gatsby law, the insurance changes.
I'm explaining the one for the ambulance service because the ambulance service had a bookkeeping line item though. The solid waste did not have a bookkeeping line item. That's what I'm trying to say. Ambulance service had in the past a bookkeeping line item. One of the ambulance service employees did the bookkeeping and got paid out of that line item.
Well, like I was saying,
Let's
we need.
let's put this on the next month.
Well, you need to start thinking about it. If that's going to be the case, we need to centralize all the bookkeeping.
We'll study all this.
Under one, I'm not just talking about Diane. I'm talking about the whole
Oh, you're talking about the
county.
highway department?
I'm talking about the whole county.
Well,
I mean, if we're gonna,
Well, that would be a lot more expensive because you're gonna have to have an office, you're gonna have to hire somebody with CPA training, plus they're gonna have to have somebody to help them, they're gonna have office supplies. She's basically doing the job now.
well, like I said,
The people already in place.
we've already got the people in place.
School,
Yeah,
highway
you just take
department.
up.
You just take the people
other
that you got.
positions from around the county, because if you're gonna consolidate into one.
that's
financial
right. That's what Jim's talking
Yeah,
about.
that's what, yeah. I mean,
Just take the
That's what
people
Jim
that's
said.
in each area, combine it and have one head.
That's something that we can consider. But let's put these two off to the next.
You can't do that without the school board, both part, and the highway.
That's exactly right.
They're never gonna vote.
Let's just consider this
Nobody
next
asked
month, and that'll give us time to, because Mike has given us 2 pages right here that we need to look at. And they both pertain to these other
I've done a
budgets.
lot of research, I've compared her salary with other people that does far less, the type of work she does. And
That's
her
fine.
educational.
See, I'm hung up on the previous, vote. I know it's been already said, you got employee insurance at 6914, then you got fringe benefits for the county extension on 37. So which is it, and what was voted on?
Okay.
And I think that's where.
It says fringe benefits because it's not all Blue Cross Blue Shield enrollment. It's part of our share of what University of Tennessee pays that person. We make an agreement that, Bruce, can you explain it better than I can?
That's what we've been called. I mean, there was a combination of all the benefits, grouped in the.
Dental, health, life, that's what I'm saying.
No, it's their,
Just hey.
it's their health insurance plus their,
Your retirement.
Retirement, yeah.
So we're paying part of their retirement, or we're paying part of their retirement, 403B. Okay, so that's what I'm saying.
That's our agreement with the University of
And
Tennessee.
that's where those three should at least been, by being grouped together, I
Well,
don't.
because the University of Tennessee provides your insurance, right, Bruce? So that's why it's cheaper, I guess, because it comes through them than what county has.
Okay.
Okay.
So so county, so you're saying, okay, the school's got their own insurance plan, the county has its own insurance plan, that's kind of not, looks to me like we'd get a better group rate if we looked at some kind of
We
study.
might could.
Maybe
You
we
would
could
if
go
you had
through
centralized financing.
Yeah, do a
If you had
centralized.
centralized financing,
That
you
wouldn't have
could do that.
anything to do
You
with
would.
financing. If you can get the schools to agree to it, they'd be crazy to do it because their premiums is much less than ours because they've got a younger, healthier workforce.
Well, their premiums are about $500 a month.
Yeah, ours is more
Aren't
than-
they through the state, Brent?
It is through the
Well,
state.
see, I mean, you take a
They got
bid
Blue
on the
Cross.
insurance,
That's
have
something
an
we can
open
cons-
bids.
We can consider that next.
We bid the insurance every year. They bid, there's 5 major companies that provide insurance. Nobody has ever bid in Blue Cross. It's bid every year before we renew.
Which are the 5?
I think they,
Okay.
We're going to consider these because we got these 2 pages here to study next month. Okay? But I wanted to tell you before we studied it that the ambulance service had a bookkeeping line item, and one of the ambulance employees was getting that. And then when that changed, Diane's been doing that, or whoever's doing her job would be doing it. Okay, number 8. discuss monthly meetings. We've been meeting monthly. I sure don't want to meet every 2 weeks. But some have suggested that we meet every other month. We used to meet quarterly. I was asked to put this on the budget so we could on the agenda so that we could discuss it. Do y'all like monthly meetings? It was also suggested that we put it on the same time, not have any Saturday meetings. That's been suggested, always be on Tuesday night. Now, we've been in the last year, and the reason we're doing this is for the benefit of those of you that are new. For the last year, we were meeting 4 times a year on Saturday and 8 times a year on Tuesday nights. Some have suggested we leave off the Saturdays, just go to Tuesday night, a certain Tuesday night, what the second Tuesday night's what tonight is it?
Well, that's just like
Every month.
That's just like your dad, Lloyd Young, and
And
the
you.
rest of the older commit. Well, I mean, this has happened even before me. That was set up for the people that work during the week, and they would have an opportunity to at least come to a quarterly meeting on a Saturday.
That's fine.
That's why it was set up.
You want to leave 4 Saturdays in them?
Well, I mean,
I'm just wanting us to
the
discuss
quarterly
it.
meetings need to stay the same for the taxpayers of the county to at least have an opportunity to come and hear what's going on.
Do you move them, you want to move them all to Saturday or leave them split up? I'm just asking for discussion. I'm not suggesting.
I would rather them all be
anything.
on the same day. It's easier to advertise to the public, and people know it's happening the same time every month.
But
Whether that's Saturday
I like
or Tuesday.
the Saturdays because people that are at work and trying to drive home from Murfreesboro here at 6 o'clock, they can't be here at 5 o'clock on Tuesday night, and that's why I like having them on Saturdays, at least the 4. And that's what Jim and I were on this previous commission, and we said, let's, meet on Saturdays and then add the Tuesday nights. Now, do you want to add, you want to meet monthly and on the quarterly months, meet on Saturday still like we've been doing? Or do you want to change it some way? I'm just asking y'all for your opinions, and we may y'all think about that till next month, and we'll make a decision next month. Next month we're going to meet on what's that? October is one of the quarterlies, isn't it? It'll be a Saturday.
Mark, can I say something concerning that? I've watched the county commission for 30 years, and I always make part of it. The county executive, whenever it may be, can call a special call meeting anytime they want to. 6 members of the county commission can call a special call meeting. We've been meeting for a couple of years now, monthly. And that's one of the reasons you don't get your package any second. We're begging for something put on the agenda. There's been meetings we didn't have. We just had to scratch to get an agenda together. Plus, there's been 3 or 4 meetings didn't have a quorum. So, I mean, this isn't working.
We can meet quarterly and have a special call meeting, is what he said, anytime in between there. And then you'll just leave off the monthly meetings. Just meet quarterly like they used to. When Jim was on the commission, 20 years ago, that other time, you just met quarterly and you had special meetings in between. Special meetings in between. Now that's something y'all can consider between now and next month. And next month we'll make a decision, and we're gonna make it on a Saturday.
Well, I thought we had an emergency tonight. We got amendments, so I was already.
No, you liable to have amendments during at any particular month, you may have an amendment.
I guess I'm just used to living with what I got, and then unless,
Amen.
somebody's, say, hey, we
Amen.
gotta take a trip.
Well,
and,
the amendments that we have, most of them are moving it from one line to another in the same budget, most of them.
My concern is once that line gets added, it's kind of like a pay raise, and it just kind of stays there. It'll never come.
That's why the budget committee has been watching that. We'll discuss monthly meetings more next month on Saturday, October the what? Somebody get your calendar out.
First Saturday after the second month. Why, I don't know.
Second
That's the
Saturday.
rule.
That's what it
I have no
was.
idea.
Older generation, they had it under control.
I probably won't be there.
The first Saturday after the what?
Second month.
Be the 18th. Be the 18th.
That's the 18th of October. So we'll meet next time, the 18th of October, on a Saturday. And some of your constituents can come that can't be here on Tuesday. And then we'll discuss at
10 a.m.
10 a.m., that's right. And some of you may, like it better on, every time on Saturday. But some of you may like it.
I don't know that it's what I like, I think it's what the taxpayers and the citizens like.
Exactly.
Well, most counties, I'd say, meet at a night instead. Not many of them meet on Saturday anymore, do they?
No.
during the
Davidson
day.
County, they don't meet on Saturday. Okay, next month we'll discuss that some more. Number 9.
Mark.
Yes, sir.
You talking about changing the meetings to Saturday so people can come?
Mhm.
I'm one of the people that can't come on Saturday.
There you go. So that's why I'm going to have some Tuesday meetings, right?
Right. And I like to attend the meetings, so I'd rather y'all not change it every Saturday.
Okay. Point well taken. When you have them, some of them on Saturday and some of them on Tuesday, even though it's hard to keep up with, there's more people can come that, some people work on Saturdays. And some people, are,
I work 2 a month.
Some people work on Tuesdays too.
That's right.
I work
Most
over.
of them.
I work every
I
day.
do.
Me and Todd do.
I work 7 days a week. Number 9, you got a resolution to provide the matching funds for the solid waste recycling equipment grant. Mike, go ahead and explain
I
that.
got to give you a revised copy. That, I believe your copy says a baler. That was in there. It should have said a skid steer. So we've got a revised copy. What that is, solid waste grant, and we have an old tractor, and I've tried before and we weren't successful. We think we can get a better grant application in this time, but I've got an old tractor that cost a fortune to keep going. It's in the shop right now. I can apply for up to $25,000 and we can buy a skid steer with a loader, bucket, and forks on it. As long as it does, well, it can go over 25, but it'd be at 100% cost. If we are successful in getting this grant, let's say it costs $20,000, we would be responsible for 10% of that.
So this is the 90-10 grant that you're going to apply for.
And let's just say it costs $25,000, we'd be responsible for 10%, whatever the cost of the equipment would be. Now, if it costs $30,000, we'd be responsible for 10% up to 25 plus 100% after 25. But you can buy a good skid steer for 25 or less. And it would probably, and this is just a crazy guess, it'd probably save you $3,000 or $4,000 a year in repair bills on that old tractor.
I thought I've seen a skid steer
They
operating
belong
over
to
there.
city. They've been very, very generous in allowing us to use theirs when our tractor's down. It seems like that's pretty often.
Okay.
Any other questions?
You hear what this is for. This is to allow him to apply for this grant, and it's a 90-10 grant.
Now, I want to correct something said earlier. If you vote for this, you're obligated. I mean, if we get the grant, we're obligated for the 10%. I can't come back to you because if you'll notice, it says that we agree to pay the 10%.
That's
So
right.
you're approving the 10%
That's right.
tonight.
That's what we're approving tonight.
Whether it's $15,000, it'd be 10% of that or $20,000.
All right, what do we got? Let's look at you got your budget with you?
I do.
You got your budget, Russell? Let's go to sanitation.
Never leave home with that.
heard
What
that.
page you looking on?
55,710.
Solid waste. All right, I got solid waste.
All right,
waste.
we got maintenance and repair services and equipment. Okay?
I'm not
55.
asking for any new money, Jim. That'll come out of that budget.
Well, that's what I want to
Hopefully
make
the sale
sure
of the
of.
tractor will cover it.
Well,
If
but I
get-
just want it in the minutes that it's going to come out of sanitation budget.
That's right.
It ain't going to come out of debt service or general fund.
And we're going to put it on 55,336 is what I think it ought to be on.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
That'll be
in your
maintenance and
motion.
repairs.
That, and the price of the tractor, though, when we sell a used tractor, if it brings $2,000, that goes into this line, this
Right.
maintenance line for equipment. You understand that, Mike?
I do, and that's where I was gonna take it, but
But we can do that, can we? When you
Why?
sell capital stuff, it might have to go back to,
Well, if it goes into,
If I sell the tractor, it'll go in the county.
It'll go in county general.
No.
Is that right?
Solid waste.
It's going to solid waste, because it's a standalone, that's right.
But you can't do an amendment
It'll
to
go
move it?
in,
It can go into solid waste, yes, we can, yes, we
do
can.
amendment
We
to
can.
move it. All right. Now, my question is this gonna be the policy on Evergrande?
No.
Is Mr. Bush gonna make a motion for sheriff's grants or anybody else's grants and tell them where to?
No,
according if the money's there or not.
If the money's there, I wouldn't be asking for it.
Well, nothing was said nothing about though coming out of sanitation budget.
If you read this, it doesn't say where, it has to specifically say that service for.
Well, it says that we're gonna be paying for
And
it.
it's a solid waste grant. You should assume it come out of solid waste.
Well, sometimes assuming and reality is two different things. So,
it will, you gonna make a motion?
yeah, I make a motion that it comes out of the line item of
55,336.
55,336 for the payment, for the difference on this grant, our part.
Do I hear a second?
Yeah, I second.
Todd seconded. The motion is, I'll repeat it, is to let the county executive apply for this 90-10 grant to get a skid steer loader that the city's been graciously letting us use theirs, and our tractor will be sold. Now, when the tractor's sold, it'll go back in the solid waste budget, but it won't go back into line item 336 until we move it there.
That's fine.
But it goes out, the money to pay this grant comes out of line item 336. Everybody understand all right, call the roll, Bobby.
Mark Barker.
Yes.
Russell Reed.
Yeah, yes.
Todd Hollingsworth.
Yes.
Karen Asher.
Yes.
Jim Bush.
Yes.
James Holloway.
Yes.
Glenn Stickley.
Yes.
Brent Bush.
Yes.
Richie Hunter.
Yes.
Adam Melton.
Yes.
All five.
Okay. The next one is on the solid waste also, and it's to reapply, we've already applied for this waste oil grant before, haven't we?
Yes, we were successful in it, and if you'll notice, when you go up there, we built that little shed, and we we collect a whole lot of used oil. It's really been successful. It keeps it out of the drinking water.
Keeps us out of Woodbury's sewer plants and other places. I mean, that's a good thing.
What I'm asking you for is to reapply for that, and we're not going, we can apply for up to $17,100. Now, we don't need anything but a new tank. That tank has gotten old, and this is 100% grant. It costs nothing if we're successful. And what we're going to apply for is a brand new tank. We don't need the cover, we got that. We're going what they call socks that go around the tank to continue accidental spill, and a bunch of oil dry, hopefully a year's worth of socks and oil dry. But that's
100% grant.
It's 100% grant, but I have to have your approval.
Do I hear a motion?
I make a motion.
Todd Hollingsworth made it, and Brent, did you second it? Okay. Brent seconded it, Todd Hollingsworth made it. Can we vote by voice vote on this, and since it's 100%?
Fine.
All in favor, let me know by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it, unanimous. Number 11 is the policies and procedures for those housing rehabilitation things that the Upper Cumberland does, isn't that right?
No.
Oh, no,
Well,
I'm sorry.
yes, but Upper Cumberland didn't do this one. 14 Upper Cumberland counties can apply, and you only get this about every 5 years if you're lucky. And this time, County have the highest rating of anybody, and it's been several years since we got it. With the city of Woodbury, the last one they got, they couldn't spend it all, so they didn't apply this time. So, of all the 14 Upper Cumberland counties, County got the largest housing grant. Now, what this is, this is 100% grant. You're not paying a penny of it. It's going to elderly people and low income. Now, these grants, especially CDBG, I want to explain. CDBG, Community Development Block Grants, started in 1971 under orders of Richard Nixon. And the purpose of it was, and these are similar grants, the purpose of it was the money that the states were sending to the federal government was being spent on the states, but the decision where it's to be spent was being made by the feds. Nixon thought that if
they come up with the CDBG system. They gave local governments, what, 500,000 to Memphis, what they would need, we might not have any use for at all. So we have more say in how that that's all federal money. And you say, well, it's still our money. It is. And if we don't,
But at least it's coming back to
it's
us.
going to go to DeKalb or Warren or some other county. I mean, they're going to spend it. So we're a fool not to go away.
How's this administered?
It's administered very tightly, just like this is a CDBG loan for the ambulance center, water lines, all that. And the federal government administers it. Well, the state government does it, but they got federal rules to go by. A lady by the name of Brooksy Carlton. She administers it, and they send out inspectors. I have nothing to do with it other than, and they have to follow the Davis-Bacon Act. There's all kind of rules. So it's got all, it's administered, Richie, with all the federal regulations. Now this one, I won't be in the decision making, and you couldn't hire me to be in it, because if all 10 of y'all come up here and ask for a housing grant, I don't want to be the one to tell you you can or can't have it. This will be done out of the county. It'll be done if you qualify, and the grant's $440-something thousand. And I hope we spend every dime of it, because what we don't spend is going to go back in the pot and be spent in another county. So, and I'm telling people, watch the CannonCoCommMtg, and as soon as y'all approve these procedures, now, you're not approving the grant, you're approving these federal procedures. These are the rules we have to go through that has to be followed. And you see how thick they are. Now, if Adam Melton comes in and applies, and if he qualifies and there's money there, he'll get it. If he doesn't qualify, they'll send him away. It's simple as that. It won't be like if Adam comes in, he's my buddy, Adam, you really don't qualify, so, but I'm gonna slip him and qualify it. I won't have any say in it. It'll be all done by the grant writer and state officials. And I'm asking for your approval of this manual. So set approval. Once you do this, then we're going to set a date for a public hearing here in the courtroom, and we're going to advertise at WBRY and CannonCoCommMtg, and we're going to have people here to meet individually with people who wants to know if they qualify or whatever. It could be nothing more than a handicap ramp. It could be replacement windows, or it could be an entirely new house. It just depends on what you qualify.
So nobody in this county is responsible for paying the courier or the WBOI for advertising?
We'll pay that.
Okay,
yeah.
so there is some commitment at the local level, but it has nothing to do with the public housing office and anything like that. That lady, what did you say her name was? She's with
the
state government.
State government. Yeah.
State government. So there's no county. There's nothing in Davison or Rutherford. We're not in a larger group like Upper Cumberland. With administrative procedures for this, because I'm just, HUD is a dynamic in and of itself. I mean, I think it's a great idea, but I just think there's also maybe some unforeseen costs that we might not know yet.
The only cost that, and we got this once before, and the only cost would be the advertising.
Okay.
That is the only cost.
That's the only cost. Now, if I find out different, I'll come back to you.
And as far as your knowledge, there's no one be required on the county payroll to be monitoring this or responsible for anything.
Diane will be handling the paperwork as she does with all grants. It'll come into my office, but then our grant writer will make sure it's all done correctly, and then they'll be. They actually hire their own contractor. Usually they come in, the state will send a preferred contractor. Usually they'll have a window contractor, concrete, whatever. And Glenn, that's a good thing, because it doesn't get into who's kin to who and who's buddies with who. It's total. Who gets the money is totally, the decision is made with someone outside of the county. And that's a good thing. It'll be people that know nobody.
Now, about 2010 or 2011, we accepted a thing from Upper Cumberland for what was it, $300,000 to do something like this. How many homes in the county were worked upon then if we got it? It's one previous.
How much of that money was spent? I can't say that, so I don't know. Right now, I can't say.
But it's
I will
there.
tell you a tale, and I won't call no names because we're not allowed to. It's a family that lived in a house that actually, some of the floors had broken through to the dirt, and they never come to town or anything, and they were gonna build them a brand new house. And had the contractor lined up and everything, but the rules said it had to be built where it was at for some reason. If you build it down here, I don't know why. They turned down a brand new house. So I'm sure that all the money was spent. I don't know if that's the 2010 cycle or not, but, and that's the truth. That was their call, but they didn't want the old house torn down even though they were gonna get a new one, so they turned it down. And we got them a brand new house.
Is it like the home revitalization that the
Yes.
city does?
City.
I had, my house was part of that program when I wasn't on the city council. So they come in with the inspectors and the contractors, and they assessed my needs, and they made sure that the money was there. And then we met at City Hall and we signed the paperwork, and they come in and they work for so many weeks based upon the orders that they had through their, well, it was all through the city, but it was through the Cumberland, I believe.
And the contractors will not get paid until the office in Nashville approves the work. They will actually send an inspector out and check the work.
Any other questions?
I would encourage you, if you know of any older people that need help or anything, and you don't have to be older, it could be a 25-year-old, but you do have to own your home. That's the thing about it. You can't go around it naturally. But you do have to own your home, but if you don't know anybody, have them sign up for it.
Do I hear a motion to approve it?
I'll make a motion.
Richie Hunter make the motion. Do I hear a second?
Second motion?
Adam Melton seconded. Bobby, call the roll.
Mark Parker.
Yes.
Russell Lee.
Yes.
Todd Allenberg.
Yes.
Sharon Nash.
Yes.
Jim Bush.
Yes.
James Holloway.
Yes.
Glenn Stix.
Yes.
Brent Bush.
Yes.
Richard Hunter.
Yes.
Adam Melton.
Yes.
Paul Clark. Motion carried.
All right. On the new business, I've got one item on the new business. The sheriff has a proposal he wants to bring to us. And I believe he's got somebody to speak also with him. Go ahead, Sheriff.
I hate to bring it up. Jim's been so picky about everybody's money. But,
It's just starting.
this is getting to be a have-to case for their office. And if I'd have known about this earlier, I could have planned for it in the budget. We're having software issues. Southern Software's been doing it at the jail for several years. And they've done their last update with us. And somewhere down the road, this is gonna have to be changed. So I went to look at different software companies, and some of them we can't begin to afford, this county couldn't afford it in 20 more years, but run across a couple that give me some bids. And one of them is David Hunter out of Cookville with USA Software. So they sent us with a presentation online. And I've got one of the biggest critics in the county, Tammy Myers. I don't know where y'all know her, but she's an assistant jail administrator. And she hates everybody. So that's who you really want to inspect what you're looking at. They sat down with her. The guys are here now. And they're based out of Florida, I think, if I'm not wrong. David here he's out of Cookville, he's local, and I got too many friends and family in Cookville. I can have him here short order, but Tammy was impressed with it. This new update has it's took all of our user agreements away from us. We're down to 3 user agreements. And it's gonna cost $950 each user to put back on there. Well, I'm not impressed with Southern Software because we have so much trouble out there. And their tech support is terrible. And I can't explain what these guys can explain, so I'm gonna turn the floor over to David Hunter, with USA Software, and let him sort of give you a short review of it.
Good evening, folks. Thank you, Sheriff, and
Chairman, Commission, thank you for allowing me to speak. I'd be glad to answer any questions you may have. Again, my name is David Hunter. I'm a 25-year veteran of law enforcement. I work for Cook Police Department. Always lived in Upper Cumberland, that's home. And I run into these guys actually looking for software myself. Just like the sheriff here, I was on his side of the fence. And I was impressed. So when I got my time in, they were my choice. So, and luckily enough, I needed somebody here in Tennessee, and here I am. So I'm local, I'm not going anywhere, and that's my background. I was in charge of researching, recommended, and purchased software, hardware, what have you. So I know both sides of it, and I kind of know what the needs are. But more than anything, you know, the software speaks for itself. It's good software. It's the best that I've seen at any price. Of course, this is not a sales pitch. I guess I'm just trying to tell you who I am. I don't sell myself to you, but I'm going to be here for him, whether I want to or not. No, in all honesty, I enjoy that side of it, so I'm going to be here for you all the way through it, good, bad, what have you, and I'd love to be able to work with you. I'd love to be able to help you. Myself and my wife's always been in public service. She's a special ed teacher, so that's what we do. And I know the importance of being a good steward of taxpayers' money, and keeping that in mind, you know, I hope you guys will consider giving us a chance.
It's my understanding you're going to give us a proposal of some sort, or you've already given the sheriff a proposal, and they would like, you know, at least a month till our next meeting, till October, to study that. You get everyone, can you get everyone a copy of something?
Yes.
And that's what he wanted, but I told the sheriff when he met me, and this was after we'd already mailed these out, I told the sheriff, have him here, introduce himself, and then give each commissioner something that they could look at and some figures about it, and then we got a month and a few days to consider it.
Yeah.
And right now is the time to ask him questions. You know, if you want to ask them now or after the meeting.
The question's going to be how much this is going to cost.
No, that ain't the first question. First question is, what did it do?
It'll do a better job than what we've got, right?
Well, absolutely.
Well, I don't know what we got, what it'll do.
It's a full jail management system, all right? It lets them automate all their jailing needs, which they do now. Just the difference is this one works. It's going to also let the guys in the field do their reports. And like I said, it's going to save any manual entry. It's going to be one time. You know, they put it in once. It's one point of entry, flows through the whole system, takes care of their booking. They start a report and they make an arrest on it or what have you. The incident may be if somebody's going to jail. They've got all that started for them when they get there. Investigative wise, it's search engine kind of like Google, and it's just a complete law enforcement, you know, management system. So hopefully it'll do everything you want to do. Whatever they do day to day.
What did you call it again? What's the name of it?
USA software.
USA, and you're using this as from your laptop as a patrol car, from a handheld device, internet, some kind of link that you got to have. Then you can report up to what, state level as a personnel accountability document. I guess I'm understanding that.
That's correct. That's correct.
And your previous software does
It interfaces with the timers, the CAD system,
Right.
everything. Ours right now, we can do timers, but we can't go.
Timers stand Tennessee, probably.
It's
Bureau,
important.
Tennessee Bureau of Investigation.
I mean,
probably, okay.
it's a requirement that law enforcement has to do.
So this software here would help those CAD, you said CAD is?
We don't have CAD yet, but we'll get the CAD capability. The 911 center, everything, they can interface with us somewhere down the road and get everything that we're gonna have.
So 911 center receives a call, it comes in, do they see it digitally, and then do they send it to you manually? How do you get a voice?
What ours is gonna do is reporting and jail management, inmates, but it has the capability of going further, which our system don't now, and our system is upgraded the last they said they can upgrade it. So we're gonna have to do something.
This is just.
Are you saying, Darryl, because I work for the 911 center, are you saying that we could dispatch you across with a computer instead of over the radio?
If we had computers in vehicles, you could, but right now we don't have computers in there. Somewhere down the road, it'll happen. If our GHSO grants keep coming in like they're going, I'm putting cameras in all the vehicles right now. I'm gonna finish them up in October when this grant starts. I'll have cameras in all patrol cars. Our next step's gonna be computers.
And right now, they're limiting you to 3 operators and the whole sheriff's department. And we're gonna have to pay how much to put another one on?
$950 per user. See, I've got 15 computers in that jail. At one time, any of us could get on at any computer. We can't do that anymore. They've cut us out.
Because they want you to have a user agreement for every operator of the system. So it costs them.
This covers that. That gives me the 15 user agreement in this.
I think what Brent's asking for part of it, once 911 goes to CAD and they get their CAD system set, and once you get the computers in the car, they'll be able to see how many times they've been to that residence, what happened at that residence every time they went, who lived there before, who's there now. They can access all of that. Once that does happen, where he's limited at now, or he can't do that in the future, be open to where he can do that.
One thing that's hurting me right now with the software we've got, I have to shut my jail administrator or my receptionist down, which they have to have there going at all times. They're providing visits, they're providing everything for that jail, everything. They keep up with everything, front and back, mostly jail. But I have to shut them down when somebody calls me, or Miss Hilda has to have it for reports. We have attorneys, everybody and his brother that's needing reports. I have to shut them down because, man, her can't even get on it anymore. They cut us out, which all of us were using it until they done this last upgrade. And they hollered, this is the way it's always been. I said, no, it's not always been that way, because ever since it's been in here, anybody that had a login could get on it and use it.
So is this an architecture, an infrastructure challenge, or a bandwidth problem for the computers getting online?
It's a money racket. That's exactly what it is.
For all users.
We've got our contract runs out in December. I've either got to renew it, or I've got to find me a new software. They're willing to help us change take what we've got now to put over into this system to keep from losing their records. But we're gonna have to update, no matter where I'm sure, for y'all sitting on the county commission, it's coming. It's fixing to happen.
Do you have somebody close that has it besides your, like the cook, you said cook, do you have anybody in the Upper Cumberland that has this?
We actually use Southern software.
Yeah.
So.
But I mean, anybody other than
Warren? No.
No.
Can I just say one thing? I'm Jerry Johnson, and USA Software has been in business since 1985. A good friend of mine was a customer of mine in Georgia, 2 locations, came to Tennessee, and that's the very reason that I'm in Tennessee now. We're just now trying to open up. We've got probably somewhere in the neighborhood of 350 departments that have been using our software, for some of them for over 25 years. Panama City Beach runs everything. All of you know what Panama City Beach does. But basically what takes place with our system, we've got about 3 or 4 that are right now within this area. Hopefully we'll get a PO maybe tomorrow on one, because David has only been with me since the first of the year. And all of you know that when you're in this market right here, it doesn't happen. You know, it's not just a quick turnover sale like walk in and walk out. It takes time, But one of the things that we do, we offer a variety. We've been providing solutions to law enforcement for over 30 years. We have everything, jail, we have the records, the RMS system, the mobile data, the e-citations in the car. We basically have everything that anybody out here would have. We have over 60 modules that can be added at any time. Next year, if the sheriff says, I would like to put in X, Y, Z, all he has to do is say, just order that one particular part of it. The one thing that really surprised me about this $950 to bring a user on, Microsoft is going to get their share of it, Mr. Bill Gates, believe me. Well, 10 users is only $250. And this is one thing that just shocked me. And that's what we do, is, you know, all of our stuff is Microsoft, Windows-based, and everything is handled in-house on a server. Later on down the road, if he puts the laptops in the car, dispatching can silently dispatch his vehicles in the field. It will plot it on his map, tell him exactly where he's got to go. The officer fills out the report in the field, sends it to his supervisor for approval, sends it straight on into the back-end database, and there in turn goes into Tibers. And we use the Tennessee State Tibers form, is what the officer fills out, just like they're used to filling out every day.
Thank you. And if you got any more questions, the reason I brought them, I didn't bring them, Darryl brought them. He asked me to bring them, but I wanted y'all to hear this, all of us together, and then if you've got questions, they're gonna hang around here when we're done to answer any questions one-on-one that you might have. And this was just for informational purposes to get it rolling, because we're gonna have to do something between now and, what, December? And David, I appreciate you coming.
Well, thank you.
And also to you, sir. Jerry.
Yes.
And y'all be sure to ask them some questions after we get done. This is on new business, and it's something we need to tend to in one of our next meetings. Anything else on new business, anyone?
We didn't hear a cost.
They'll tell you the cost. The sheet, the paper, you gonna give them papers, it's got the cost.
It's got the cost on it, I'll make you the copy. They get to you. I think that's the biggest part of it.
That's the problem.
That's the problem.
Anything else under new business? I think I got everything under old business that we had, but is there anything else under old business? Jim, you think anything? Russell, you think anything at their last meeting?
No.
Todd? I think I pulled everything onto this agenda. Okay?
Chairman Barker?
Yes, sir.
Excuse me. Were there minutes to be approved from the last meeting?
No, sir. Not that I know of.
They weren't none in the packet.
It wasn't in our packet. We didn't have it. Our last meeting was, let me see here,
September.
August 12th. And we just did, it was very short. We just discussed the thermal imager, and it went on to this one. And then,
Miss Morris didn't show up.
and we discussed that county road, or you know, county road, and then nothing was done on it.
Isn't it required that we have minutes?
Have
of the
minutes.
Of each meeting?
I did those minutes the last time, that was my last one.
Okay.
Diane has them, I don't.
Okay, we'll get them to approve next time.
Okay.
And Cynthia, though, has the official record over there behind us, and she is the official record keeper for our meetings. She's got, Cynthia, you have a recorder going, and you're filling out when we vote, who votes how. And if you need to look back at a meeting that was held when Brent's daddy was county executive, it's in Cynthia's office, and how everybody that was living then and voted on that, voted on it. So it's all in Cynthia's, it's all in the clerk's office.
They were arguing just like they are today.
Faces are new, but entertainment hasn't changed, right?
That's why some people come to these meetings, to be entertained.
I'm glad we can help.
Ain't that right? See, I got one of them right here. I drove all the way to Murfreesboro to watch us argue. All right. Is there any other new business, old business? Remember the things that we're going to discuss at the next meeting, that I said that we're going to discuss next meeting. Be sure to talk to the sheriff and the people from USA Software. And you might get with Jamie, and I'm glad I didn't recognize you, but thank you for coming in when you could. We know you had an emergency. And if you have anything, Jamie, that you know that you can, about any type of way these softwares work, tell some of these other commissioners off to the side, you know, discuss it if you need to. Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Do I hear a second? Second motion. Second. All right, thank y'all.